Hello guys, it's Michael here from Mixing Manga and welcome to this little review video on the recent update Ancient Combat. This is actually, funny enough, the second time I'm trying to record this video. I basically did a whole 10-minute video talking about the Ancient Combat and stuff like that, and then at the end I realised my mic was on mute and none of it recorded, so I slapped myself in the face many times. I was really angry, but anyway, so I thought I'd do it again. I wanted to do an update about Ancient Combat because it is really interesting, and there's also something I want to talk about later to do with the new Niles and the drop that they drop. I'm not sure what you guys think about it, but I will get onto that later. You might be able to guess what it is, but basically today I had an exam in the morning, went pretty well. So I came home and I was like, I want a little break from revision. Can't really be bothered, even though I've got 4 exams the rest of the week. But I was like, you know what, have a little break, hop on Runescape and try out the new update, which was Ancient Combat, and it actually turned out to be really successful. Sorry, I can't even like pronounce my words now. Anyway, yeah, so it turned out to be really successful, and yeah, it was a really good update in my opinion. Not massively needed, it wasn't like necessary, but it is a really cool little update, and some of the stuff is really awesome. So yeah, so firstly they brought out 4 new abilities. 3 of these are threshold abilities, one for melee, one for range, and one for magic. Now, I know I've tested all 3 of them. Melee's pretty good, I only tested melee and magic on dummies. Melee's pretty good, I'm not too bothered about that. But magic, apparently, people are using it at Virago. I went Virago earlier with a seismic team. They were saying the accuracy was a bit not great, compared to the range one, which hits pretty much every single time. The accuracy on the mage one wasn't great, but when it does hit, it was really good. It was really good. It hit I think it's 4 hits, 3 hits, and that's pretty cool. It is really powerful. However, the range one is awesome, guys. Literally on Virago, it was insane. Undeath Swiftness, you obviously you get hit 50% damage. So basically, if you hit a 5k, it hits a 2.5k on you. So at Virago, Undeath Swiftness, I was hitting 5ks with it, getting hit myself 2.5k, but that doesn't really matter too much. You can soul split back up to full health. But wow, 5k, it might sound like a lot because obviously it's just one hit. No ability has you can't hit 5k with an ability Undeath Swiftness normally on stuff like Virago, so it is a really powerful ability. Obviously you're probably thinking, well, while magic has 2 hits which can hit 10k or something, or Asphyxia has 3 or 4 hits which can hit 20k combos. Yeah, but the thing is, obviously range now has 4 threshold abilities, so basically when you're Death Swiftness, you can get this Shadow Tendril off, which hits 10k Death Swiftness on Virago. Pretty much, I think I used it about 4 or 5 times. I think 3 times I hit 10k, 1 time I hit 9k, and 1 time I hit about 6 or 7. But it hits 10k on Virago on phase 5, which is awesome. So obviously, what I'd use the Shadow Tendril ability, and then I'd use Snapshot, Bombardment, and Rapid Fire, and I'd heal back to full anyway. I'd heal the 4.5k, 5k back up anyway from those 3 abilities, and you're hitting a 45k combo plus with these 4 abilities, and it is really, really good. It really makes range really powerful. I was watching Dampcat do some streams earlier as Bow on Nex, and he was just getting blood phase down so easily. It does kind of change the combat styles balance. Maybe range is nearly as powerful as magic. Obviously magic is still quite far ahead of range, but it does make range really powerful, and it is pretty cool, obviously to see some new abilities in the game and going in and testing them. Obviously recently I've been doing a lot of skilling, I'm at 98 crafting now, and I've been doing construction and fishing and stuff like that. I wanted a little bit of a break, do some combat, and it was fun to test out these new abilities, so I hope they can do these kind of updates in the future, bring out new abilities and stuff like that, because it is a cool update. The other thing, guys, if you do want these quests, you have to have completed the dig site quest. It's not that difficult a quest. Didn't take me too long. Like, I'm not a quester at all when I've done it, so go check that out. And obviously, you need 75 attack, 75 magic, 71 range, and 91 constitution. Go speak to the archaeologist expert at the dig site exam center. So yeah, so the next one is the fourth and final new ability, which is Ice Asylum. Now, for this one, you need 91 constitution, and this is an ultimate ability that obviously heals you basically, and it's like a group heal effect, and it's pretty cool. It's like a heal over time, as it says there. Actually, AoE heal over time ability, and closer you are, closer more you get healed. It's really cool actually, but it's not that useful, I have to say. Like, you don't really need it for that many bosses, but it's kind of cool to have, and it's kind of cool to see where they're going with these kind of AoE, like heal other type abilities, and it is pretty awesome. So next, they also brought out 4 new familiars. I'm not going to talk a lot about those. They're not that great, to be honest. I tried them out. They're alright, They're not amazing. I would never use them over like a pack yak or a unicorn, because they're just so much more useful, because I need food all the time. Like aggressive familiars that attack are just kind of like dying away. People don't really use them anymore, and they're not that useful. So they also brought out the Nile Transmute, which also isn't really kind of something I really care about. I'm not gonna lie, I don't think many people use the Transmute abilities anyway, so yeah. And finally, they also brought out new weapons, the Dragon Ward, which is like a magical shield, the Dragon Hasta, and the Dragon Throwing Knives. These are all dropped from the Muspars as drops. I'm not sure how much they are. I don't think they're a lot, but that's kind of cool, I guess. Adds another thing to the drop table, because at the moment, Muspars aren't really that good money. So I think they're a couple of mil per hour, like 3 or 4 mil, but they're not that amazing. And obviously, you need to complete Fate of the Gods as well. But that kind of stuff doesn't really interest me. It's not really high level stuff, so I'm not really interested with that. But finally, is what I wanted to talk about was obviously they added something to the Nile's drop table. So obviously you can kill either the Blood, Smoke, Shadow, and Ice. You have to kill all 4 of them. You can now get these as a Slayer task as well. They give 700. It says 450 here, but I'm sure the official wiki said like 700. Anyway, yeah, so you have to actually unlock these and Muspars using 50 points, which is pretty cool. And then you can obviously get these as a Slayer task, and they're obviously quite good, because it is quite fun. It's like doing a boss. They did say they're going to be bringing out like a next Slayer task, but I thought this was going to be like you could either do the Niles or you could go to next. But no, it's not like that. And the other really kind of controversial thing that they've done with the Niles is they've made the Zait bow on its drop table as very rare. Now, on the wiki itself, it says super rare, so that means it obviously is really rare. But I'm not sure, because at first I was like, this is not a good update. They're going to crash the price of Zait bow. But obviously it is very rare. Josh said it's something like 1 in 10k or 1 in 3k or something crazy like that. So obviously it is very rare, and they are reasonably difficult to kill. They do take a while. They have these abilities and stuff, and when you have like 3 or 4 on them, and when they're like running through you and hitting like 2k, it can be quite difficult. And you know what, trips aren't going to be that long. You're going to get about 4 or 5, like 3 or 4 like rotations, so about 12 kills in before you actually have to bank. So that's not going to really affect the Zait bow prices too much, and I guess it kind of gives like a little incentive to do the bosses after you've done the quest, because really it just basically comes like more dead quest content. Like, who's really going to go back to the Nihills if you can't get good Slayer XP and the chance of a Zait bow? It's just kind of one of those things that no one's ever really going to do, and it's just going to become useless. And I don't think they want to do that. They don't want to make it like completely useless. They want to kind of keep it going, make people want to go back there, and obviously this kind of gives like an incentive. So I'm not really sure where I stand on the whole putting like exclusive next item drops on other like bosses drop tables, but who knows how it's going to work out. It could crash the price of Zait bow. It could just make it, I don't know, it couldn't change it. It could not change it whatsoever. So who knows. So if you guys have an opinion about it, be sure to leave a comment down below. I'll try my best to reply to it. Obviously I know a couple of people who aren't that happy about the update. They think, next item should say exclusive to next items. What next? Give like Virtus wands to Dark Beast or something like that. It's crazy, but it doesn't really affect me that much anyway. I'm never going to go to Niles because I've got 99 Slayer, and I'm not really going to do that. So yeah, guys, so this is pretty much all I wanted to talk about in this video. Definitely go check out the new abilities. They're really cool. Go try them for yourself. Obviously, a lot of people have been asking me like, yeah, how are they like? Go check them out for yourself. Get your own opinion. But yeah, this is the recent update called Ancient Combat, and it is quite cool, I have to say. Like, I know I said it earlier, but I do like combat updates because new abilities to play with, new abilities to test out. It is quite cool, and they are definitely very interesting and good updates. So yeah, guys, as always, thanks for watching and goodbye.